Hello, it's Jim from JetsonHacks.com. If you develop on the Jetson, inevitably you eventually end up having to flash the Jetson from a host machine. We'll be covering how to flash your Jetson from the command line. In this explainer video, we'll go over the system architecture and terms you need to know. Then we'll work through the NVIDIA documentation for the process. This should help familiarize you with their technical document terms. Next, I'll share with you some convenience scripts that you can use to help streamline your own flashing process. Finally, we'll install the Jetpack libraries on the Jetson. Let's get started. There are three main parts to the Jetson software stack. The first part is the firmware, which is stored in flash memory on the Jetson module. This memory is called QSPI, which is the interface the Jetson Tegra system uses to communicate with the flash memory on board the Jetson module. The Jetson uses a multi-stage bootloader. This bootloader initializes the hardware using the firmware, then loads the operating system, which is Jetson Linux. The second part of the stack is Jetson Linux, a derivative of Ubuntu. You may also hear it referred to as L4T, which stands for Linux for Tegra. Jetson Linux is typically stored on media in multiple partitions, such as an SD card, built-in eMMC, a USB drive, NVMe SSD, or even a network source. The Jetson can be configured to boot from any of these devices. The third part of the stack is the Jetpack SDK, which includes a collection of libraries, APIs, and tools designed for development in deep learning, computer vision, and robotics. Key components of Jetpack include CUDA, CUDNN, TensorRT, and many more. The firmware, Jetson Linux, and Jetson SDK in a given release are tightly coupled. Each component is designed to work with specific versions of the others, and mixing library versions can lead to incompatibility, unexpected behavior, or system instability. There are a couple of acronyms for components you need to know before we start. The Board Support Package, or BSP, contains several components. The bootloader is responsible for initializing hardware and starting the operating system. The kernel manages system resources, hardware communication, and process execution. Drivers enable the operating system to interact with hardware components like GPUs and networking interfaces. Kernel modules are loadable extensions that allow the kernel to support additional hardware and features dynamically. The device tree provides a structured description of the hardware, telling the operating system how components are connected. The BSP includes flashing and other tools suitable for development and production environments. The BSP also contains the QSPI firmware for the Jetson that we mentioned earlier. You should also know about the root file system, or rootfs. You can think of this as a Jetson Linux operating system and consists of the following components. System libraries provide essential functions that applications and system services rely on to run. System management controls background services, processes, and resource allocation to keep the system running smoothly. The user environment includes the command line shell, system utilities, and tools that allow users to interact with the operating system. Package management enables software installation, updates, and dependency handling using apt and d package. NVIDIA libraries provide GPU acceleration, AI capabilities, and multimedia processing optimized for Jetson hardware. To get started, you will need an x86 PC, desktop, or notebook. This is the host. The PC should be running Ubuntu version 22.04 or 20.04 natively. Also, one known issue is that using host machines with a USB port speed of 10 gigabits per second or more may fail in flashing the Jetson due to timing issues. In this case, it is recommended that you put a USB hub between the Jetson and the host machine. You also need your Jetson. For Jetpack 6, this is an AGX Orin or Orin Nano developer kit. We'll refer to this as the target. With the Jetson developer kit powered off, connect the Jetson to the PC using a data-capable USB Type-C cable. The flash port of the AGX Orin is located next to the GPIO header. On the Orin Nano, the flash port is located next to the Ethernet jack. Plug the other end of the cable into the PC. Then we finish up connecting the rest of the peripherals to the Jetson. Connect the keyboard and mouse. Plug in the Ethernet cable for internet access. Attach a monitor. If you're flashing to a SD card, remember that the capacity must be 64 gigabytes or more. Here's a quick outline of the flashing process. We download the Jetson board support package and sample root file system directly to a x86 host computer running Ubuntu. You then use the BSP tools to flash Jetson Linux to the board. Once the board is running, you then install the Jetpack libraries from an apt repository. This is the most efficient method to flash a Jetson. It is particularly suited for experienced developers and professional engineers working in production environments. If you are doing low-level kernel development or require secure boot options, you must use this method. We'll cover two equivalent flashing methods. First, we'll follow the Jetson Developer Guide Quick Start to familiarize ourselves with NVIDIA's documentation terminology. Second, we'll install using simple convenience scripts. These provide an example of flashing Jetson Linux, which you can modify to fit your specific needs. When flashing, it's common to require a customized process rather than a generalized approach. Finally, we will install the Jetpack libraries on a freshly flashed Jetson. We're using a Jetson Orin Nano in this video, which will be set up to run in super mode. Some people can find the NVIDIA documentation a little confusing. Let's walk through the quick start guide on how to flash the Jetson from the command line. The first section tells us that we can use this process to flash a Jetson developer kit with a Jetson Orin module. Let's scroll down to Assumptions. Here's a list that you should read through. One important note that is missing is that the Linux Ubuntu host system needs to be running on a x86 desktop or laptop machine. You should use a native install of Ubuntu. VMs can have issues. Next up, we set environment variables. Here's how we read this. The text inside the curly brackets is the name of the environment variable. In this case, we set the environment variable to the name of the Jetson Linux release package. We replace the version and angle brackets with the release number. As we will see, we prefix the release number with a capital R. Let's download the BSP and rootfs. This brings us to the Jetson Linux archive. These are all of the releases for all models of the Jetsons going all the way back to 2014. Here we want the latest, which is 36.4.3. We scroll down a little to the driver's download, then we download the driver package and sample root file system. After downloading the files, I place them onto an external drive in a new directory. You can place them where you like. Just remember that you will need a large amount of drive space available. This will be the working directory. Let's open a terminal on it. I'll rearrange the windows. I'll change the command prompt to make it easier to read. Now we set our environment variables. The L4T release and sample FS variables simply contain the downloaded file names. Notice the capital R in front of the release number. Now we look up the board name. This is an 8 GB Orin Nano on a developer kit board. There are two board names to choose from. The first one is for lower power applications. We'll choose the Super version, which allows for 25-watt operation. Let's take a look at the variables to make sure they took. The next step is to untar the downloaded files, install prerequisites, and assemble the rootfs. When we say we are going to untar a file, we mean extracting its contents from a .tar archive, restoring the original files and directories that were packed into it. Decompressing the files can take several minutes, depending upon the speed of your machine. Looking at our files, we can now see the Linux for Tegra directory. Let's switch over to that directory. We can see all the files. We can use the pwd command to get the current working directory. Next, we install the prerequisites. If you remember back to earlier in the video, the BSP holds binaries specific to a given board. Apply binaries ensures that the Jetson system has all the necessary NVIDIA drivers, firmware, and libraries before flashing. It integrates GPU drivers, multimedia acceleration, the Linux kernel, and the device tree into the root file system, ensuring the Jetson boots with the correct hardware configurations and functionality. Now we get ready to flash. In order to put the Orin Nano into force recovery mode, we jump pins 9 and 10 on the J14 button header. You can use a 2-pin jumper. I'm going to leave out the dad joke that I've never seen one jump. However, I prefer to use a female-to-female DuPont cable to bridge the two. The header has a 2.54mm pitch. Connecting pin 9 to 10 effectively shorts the two and tells the Jetson to go into force recovery mode when the power is applied. When we plug in the power jack, the green light comes on. The Jetson will appear as a USB device on the host. We're playing with the big boys now. We scroll down to find the appropriate flash command for our board. We're looking for a Jetson Orin Nano Super to a NVMe SSD. Let's take a closer look at the flash command, L4T init flash. We specify where we want the root FS, in this case the SSD. The next flag indicates to use a custom partition table. T234 indicates Jetson Orin. Here's the information for flashing the QSPI. We want to save the flash logs, use the USB port for flashing, and here's the board ID. This is a powerful script. There are a dozen use cases in the documentation, which you should be aware of. Let's get to flashing. Flashing time partly depends on the speed of the host. I have an old slow machine, takes around 25 minutes. Notice that a log is saved from the flashing process. Let's go find that. There it is. If you want to learn about some convenience scripts for the flashing process, check out the next section. Otherwise, skip ahead to learn how to complete the Jetson setup. If you frequently flash your Jetson, you may want to create convenience scripts to streamline the process. I've written a sample that you can modify to suit your needs. On the Jetson Hacks account on GitHub, there is a repository named JP6Flash Jetson Linux. Let's clone the repository and switch over to that repository's directory. Let's scroll down. Make sure you read the assumptions. We've already connected the Jetson to the host. The first step is to set up environment variables. I'm using a Jetson Orin Nano DevKit Super. Next, we download the BSP and the root FS. The time it takes depends on your connection speed and the speed of your host machine. The download size is 2.5 gigabytes. Now it's time to put the Jetson into force recovery mode. In order to put the Orin Nano into force recovery mode, we jump pins 9 and 10 on the J14 button header. You can use a 2-pin jumper. I'm going to leave out the dad joke that I've never seen one jump. However, I prefer to use a female-to-female DuPont cable to bridge the two. The header has a 2.54mm pitch. Connecting pin 9 to 10 effectively shorts the two and tells the Jetson to go into force recovery mode when the power is applied. When we plug in the power jack, the green light comes on. The Jetson will appear as a USB device on the host. The BSP and root FS are in the R36.4.3 directory. We pass that to the flash command. I'm going Jetson Orin Nano Developer Kit with Super Configuration NVMe. If you run into trouble, the last line is the location of the flashing log. After installing Jetson Linux, we're ready to set up the Jetson. This is a straightforward process. Restart the Jetson, answer some questions to personalize your experience, update and upgrade the Jetson, and then install Jetpack. In the walkthrough, we will also install JTOP, which is a Jetson community contribution to monitor Jetson performance. This part is optional, but I recommend it. First, we restart the Jetson. If you have a jumper installed, remove the jumper before restarting. You will see the initial splash screen. The firmware version should be similar to the Jetson Linux release. Next, go through the OEM config procedure. You will be asked questions, and you will provide answers. Me, I usually just make stuff up for this bit. I don't install Chromium here. I prefer a manual install. After making up, I mean answering the questions, the system will configure itself, then reboot. Log in. The system loads and you're greeted with even more questions. Once you go through those, we're ready to do the real setup. Open up a terminal. Then update and upgrade the system. Here's where I install Chromium. In order to install JTOP, install pip. This part is optional, but I recommend it. Then install Jetson Stats, which contains JTOP. Restart the Jetson for changes to take effect. Let's run JTOP. You can see that all of the Jetson libraries are missing. Let's quit out of this. Let's take a look for NVIDIA Jetpack. We're good to go. Let's install it. Installation complete. Let's run JTOP. We'll go over to the Info tab. Now we see that all of our libraries are installed. You'll notice that the default version of OpenCV does not have CUDA support. You will need to install that separately. There you have it, a comprehensive rundown on installing the Jetson software. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up, and if you have not already, please subscribe. Thanks for watching.